Hello, humans, and welcome to another segment of Incoko.
The conversation.
And as always, you're joined by your host, Siseko Mawei.
And Apiwe Mtwago.
And we were just thinking about, the conversation we had last week and what it would mean to turn 30, or almost 30, rather.
Almost 30, and what do we have to show for it? Because society expects us to be accomplished by a certain age, have certain material possessions at a certain age, be of a certain mindset. But we are from different perspectives.
Yep.
One of us has already achieved many milestones.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about you.
No. You can't throw me out like that. Because at the end of the day, there's still so much more to do,
Of course.
And also, it's like the sacrifices you make to reach those milestones.
Yeah.
But how's peanut butter?
Peanut butter is thriving. I was shopping, and, every time I go shopping, I have to get him something nice. So, my dad is back. Peanut butter is actually my dad's cat. I just want to premise this conversation.
Peanut butter adopted you.
Peanut butter adopted both of us, but I see how he is with him. Like my dad, he's always very attentive, making sure that he has everything he needs, and spending time with him as well. Like he's very cute around my dad. And how is Scully?
Well, as you can tell, he's lounging on the table with us. He is loving his life. He's sleeping on satin scarves wherever he finds them because Elle uses them for her hair. And he's become very noisy. I don't know what it is about him getting older, but he is so noisy and it's really stressful because I understand what he wants. His meows mean different things. Like, for example, when his litter box is not cleaned out, he has a very distinctive meow.
Okay.
And I know what's up. So he's very communicative, which is very useful. But in the long run, now he's demanding food an hour early.
Oh, maybe it is the old age. Maybe it's like as we grow older, as we are approaching 30, we also have certain things that we know that we like, and we like a certain way, and that's hardly ever going to change at this point. But I feel like that does tie into our conversation, kind of, because we're almost 30, bruh. We are almost 30, and what the hell?
Like, I remember... Wait, but first...
But you're like a full adult, like, you're married and stuff, like... You've passed the threshold of questions of when are you going to tie yourself into like a marital bliss. That's the questions that we have to contend with.
That's only one side of things,
I was speaking to my mom like a few days ago. I think it was yesterday. And she was like, yeah, like this is the stuff I have to deal with, like with your siblings. And I found myself being like, yo, bruh, this is exactly why I don't have kids. And she was like, yeah, but that's not something to be proud of. I was like, what do you mean? I don't want to struggle. I don't want to suffer. I don't want my kids to suffer. I don't want to take on responsibilities that I know I don't have the capacity, the space, or the mental bandwidth for.
But I will say this in regards to that. Having a full-grown adult to be in partnership with, that was a bit easier, but it also comes with its own complications. And I just love it so much at this point in time.
Married life?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure how I'm going to feel in about 50 years or so.
Right.
Because as we all know, I'm a very grumpy old young person. And I think it's only going to get worse with age.
But that's the nice thing about being in partnership, I think. Like, you get to learn each other and study one another. And as you grow older, I suppose you get to... a point where you're comfortable. I'm not an expert. I have not
We fought in front of each other, so I think we're very comfortable.
You're very comfortable. I don't think I've actually been in a long-term partnership for the most part. They don't make it past the 3-month threshold.
The 3-month threshold?
They don't make it
I remember that one.
They don't make it past it, and I think I told you last week that there's someone that I've been chatting to for over like for more than 3 months, but that's because we don't live in the same city, so the rules are a little bit different.
Yeah.
But when I think about being in partnership with somebody long term, I don't know, like I have to sit down and think like what exactly am I even looking for?
But my babes, you're almost 30, yeah?
So what? Like I feel like it's so what? Like I feel like as soon as I hit 30, I'm gonna come to the realization that it's just another number.
Yeah.
Like it's not as a big a deal as people make it out to be. And I feel like as soon as I hit 30, I'm gonna start feeling like I'm 19 again. Probably.
I mean, sure.
Like I was at a party. I wanted to go to this party with you, but I didn't know if you were. But you're always grumpy, and you know.
What? I'm not always grumpy. I'm a fun time. I'm a delight, actually.
I'm sure, but
We have been out together. I'm a freaking delight.
You're a great time. I wanted to text you because it was just down the road in Woodstock.
Oh, Chimurenga.
No, it was a birthday shindig.
A birthday shindig?
Yeah.
A birthday that I'm not invited to?
Well, I was invited, so
Oh, okay.
you would have been my +1.
Oh.
Because I was today years old when I learned that it's better to come to a party that you're invited to with a +1, because if the host is the only person you know and you're there on your own, it gets pretty boring. Like, yeah, it's an opportunity to network and mix with the crowd and like mingle and stuff, but it's better if you have someone that you know that you can just be beside the whole time. Like I was seeing most people who came were with their partners, and she was introducing me to like some of her people. Like her cousin was there with her husband. Like I know this one couple that was at the previous party that I attended. Yeah. They were there together. People were there as like pairs. So I arrived on my own, and I had to like feel my way through the room. And it's not like I was drinking either. I was stone cold sober. And I had to like talk to people that I didn't even know very well.
But when did this party happen though?
This was on Friday.
Oh, no. I couldn't have done Friday because my spouse was playing at this party, Death of Glitter. And
so that's what I figured. I figured you'd either have plans or your plans would be to have no plans.
You know me so well. Oh my gosh. But like, I'm so proud of Elle. I mean, you know, as we're both heading into, we're almost 30. Elle is just taking off. Like, played at Pangea last year, now playing at Death of Glitter. For example, playing before the headliner, Moonchild Sanelli, who was there.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm telling you, boo.
Wow.
I'm telling you. So I'm just loving watching Elle flourish as I'm currently in a moment of stasis where I'm trying to figure things out.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, because last week we spoke about a few projects that you're on.
Oh yes. I mean, it's I guess as a human being it's easy to forget those things because
give yourself props.
Because the thing is, when you're growing laterally, you know, like multiple things happening at the same time, and all of them are moving very slowly. It kind of feels like your tree is fading, but you forget that sometimes you don't have to be a tree. You can just be a bush.
Speaking of trees, my friend got me a plant. It died. It's not my fault.
How's it not your fault? The plant is there in your house waiting for you to take care of it.
No, it's not my fault. It was, she gave the plant like shock because she uprooted it and then presented it to me. So I had to do the whole repotting and try to resuscitate it, and I knew it was going to die the moment I set eyes on it. I was like, why would you bring me this? But anyway.
You tried to resuscitate it though, so I think you should give yourself props for that.
I tried. I was just like, oh my God. I knew though. I was like, this plant is dead to rights. Dead. But yeah, people are growing. I was at this party and the theme was death to our 20s.
Yeah.
And the whole theme was like funeral black and, you know, all things dark.
Wow.
Yeah.
For a birthday party.
Yes, people do that.
That's intense.
How is that intense?
I don't know. It feels like it's like ego death. Like it's
Okay, I can appreciate your perspective.
Right.
Yeah. Because I sat next to this one lady, and I don't even know what lady, girl, woman. Oh my goodness.
Language. English.
I sat next to this one person, and we were having this conversation. She was like, I'm dreading 30. And I was like, why? Like, you should really just embrace it. Take it as it comes, because it's going to come. It's just like turning any other age. Even though our parents want us to have certain things like on lockdown by the time we're 30, like that's not their decision to make.
And it's so difficult because sometimes I feel like they think they're preparing you, trying to teach you responsibility, but then they're also hands-on about teaching you that responsibility and also helping you manage it. And so by the time that you're slightly in your developed lobe phases, it's kind of difficult to get out of not looking for advice. Whereas I've always been an independent person and I don't like feeling like I've got my thinking cut out from under me. So it's like this weird duality where you want to listen, you respect them, but also at the end of the day you have to make your own choices and your own decisions, and then you're stuck in this play-by-play where I'm the dutiful son, but also at the end of the day I am my own person.
I can't, honestly, I don't know where being my own person starts and where being a dutiful daughter begins, because I feel like these things are so interlinked. Like, I feel like being without children, being without a spouse, being on my own pretty much in the world makes me feel like my only purpose is to serve my family, like my mother specifically and my dad.
Yeah.
And if I fail at that, then I've failed as a person.
No, that's not true.
Well, that's what it feels like.
I know that's what it feels like.
That's how it feels. It feels like if I don't take up the responsibility, because my parents, they're going through some stuff at the moment, and it's a lot, and my brother is turning 18. You know the significance of that culturally.
Yes.
So I have to show up as this older sibling, this older sister, firstborn daughter, and financially it's the worst, because I have to set aside my needs and my goals this year to make sure that I'm prepared financially for this responsibility. And I'm not even 30 yet, but they expect these things from somebody who has grown, who has gone to school, who has studied, who is now working. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that it comes with growth. These requests, well, they're not really requests, but they are expectations. They come with age, and the older I get, the more I feel like my parents they're just kids of themselves. Like, I don't think they know exactly what they're doing. I know what they think they want, but I don't think they know exactly what it is to be like an independent and self-actualized being, which is what I consider myself to be, because I didn't spend my youth being a parent.
Yeah.
I spent my youth trying to find myself, develop my skills, figure out what I want, what I want to achieve. And I'm still on that journey. I'm still on that path of figuring it out for myself. But then it's difficult to do when you know that there's other people who have these weird expectations of you. Like I said, she was like, not having kids is not a flex. It's not something to be proud of. But for me, it is, because it means that I have more time on my hands, and I'm not spending my days catering to a man and his children. Ugh.
But the thing is, I'm not even trying to have kids at this point. I think I made that decision quite some time ago. I mean, I was surprised even when I got married, which is a strange thing to say, I think. But also at the end of the day, I cannot take on the responsibility of raising an entire human being, or a human being being raised by me. Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm not going to compromise. I'm not even, because imagine this, right? You get successful, you have this child, and then 18 months.
What is that also successful?
Here we go.
No, continue with your train of thought. I was just...
Yeah, no.
I just had a brain fart.
I know for a fact, imagine this 18-year-old coming to you, telling you, you worked all the time, blah, 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 you weren't around. And I know what kind of parent I would be. I would not take that as being even anything to be worried about. I'd look at that child and be like, and so I know that's why I know that I would never make a good parent or a good parent to another human being.
Wow.
And that's why I'm a cat dad.
I would kill it as a mom. I know that because I spent majority of my life identifying as a 5-year-old child. So so I would kill it because I was speaking to someone and they said the reason that they don't have kids was like they felt justified in their decision to not have kids when they took their niece out for lunch. And they got dessert, and the niece was like, I don't want this caramel ice cream. And he was like, I had just spent like so much, like not so much, but I spent like money buying this thing thinking that they would appreciate it, and they just flat out told me that they don't want it, and this is like a 5-year-old. And I was like, well, that's kids for you, you know?
Yeah.
Kids know what they want.
No, I'm not saying that, that I'm terrible with children. I'm very good with children. That's the thing. It's like, it's not a curse. It's more of a blessing.
No, but I was just speaking to this thing of knowing how you are. Because his whole argument was like, for him, he felt a little bit like slighted because he had done something out of the goodness of his heart and the kid was just like not recognizing it. And I think that's just the kind of person they are. They want to be recognized for their efforts. And a kid is not going to do that.
No.
A kid is not going to do that.
No, hell no.
A child is not going to do. They're going to challenge you at every step of the way. And he was like, this is the reason why I don't want to have kids, because it's so this and that. And I was like, you just dislike kids. Like, I think you just hate kids.
And he doesn't want to understand them. But did I tell you about this moment of baby fever that hit me?
Oh my goodness. I don't even know. I don't relate.
No, like I get serious baby fever.
I don't relate.
Because I think it's also because Scully is just so lovable and cutesy and whatever. And like a cat is kind of like a baby in a way.
Really?
Well,
because a cat is kind of like a baby? Okay.
No, what I mean to say is like I was in the bus and then this mother and her daughter who was carrying her sibling in a carrier sat next to me. And I remember at the corner of my eye hearing goo and ga, and I'm like,
you should see my face right now, listener.
And I'm like, this small baby is so talkative. Then I turned to look at it, and it's been staring at me. Clearly, it's been wanting to communicate something to me, and it's got the cutest smile. It's got the cutest smile. It's just smiling and laughing and giggling while looking at my... Okay, your face is saying other things right now.
It's just that when you don't have to be the one to carry this thing for 9 months, it's easy to be like, oh, adorable.
It's so adorable. Oh my God.
But when your body is going to change in a way that is irreversible, and when your whole life is going to start revolving around this human, because I feel like for most like not typical, but like heterosexual couples, the woman or the mother has has to bear the brunt of being a primary caregiver. And in our society, a man can just up and leave. They can just decide, I don't like this baby's vibe, and then be out and out.
But I hope that changes though, because
no, it's changing.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that to say that there aren't like parents, like fathers who are super involved and doting on their children and, and staying at home to take care of the home while the mother works outside of the home. It happens.
Yeah.
It's really up to the individuals. And that's why I think you need to find somebody who is on the same place, at the same place that you're at, wanting to have a family with you and prepared to make all of the necessary sacrifices to do it. If it's one-sided, if one person wants it and the other person is in and out, like they're not really sure about like the decision, I don't recommend it. But now we're talking about kids. I don't know if that is part of...
Do you want kids?
If I'm going to have kids... If I'm going to have kids, I would prefer it to be in a union of matrimony with somebody, be it a man, be it a woman, I don't know, and I don't care, as long as they are willing to do the work that's needed to start a family, raise children, and do that. So I wouldn't do it on my own. I wouldn't want to do it on my own. I'm not saying getting married insulates you from doing it on your own. You can still be alone, even in a marriage. So I'm aware of all of that. And I'm just saying, for me, the most ideal scenario would be if I was with a partner who was legally bound to me, and I to them and us to each other, and starting this together and wanting the same things and sharing the same values and coming from a background that values marriage and children and family and all of those things. Basically conservatism.
No, that's not conservatism, I think it's because it's been linked to conservatism.
Yeah.
But I think
it's been a driving force for conservatism. Like conservatism takes the family and weaponizes it and uses propaganda.
They don't have a monopoly on the family.
No,
the family
they don't.
is everyone, right?
Yeah. And it's anyone. It can take any form. And for the greater part of my 20s, I would regard most of my friends as the family that I've chosen.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the same time, those family structures that exist in our youth as our friends and the people that we spend most of our time with, they deserve the same recognition and the same respect as the nuclear family, or I forgot what they call families that I've created based on
families.
Well, I forgot the word.
Okay. But now that we've touched on relationship, on family, oh, here comes Scully.
Hey, Scully.
And so, what did you expect, that you would have accomplished by 30? Because when I left high school, it seemed so far away. Scully, move. Ugh.
I am going to
Stupid
answer
cat.
your question. I'm going to try and be as honest as I possibly can be. I never thought I was going to live beyond 27.
What is up with the number 27?
It's just not in a bad way. I was just I thought I would be married by then.
Yeah.
I thought I would have kids by then.
Yeah.
So I didn't see myself as who I was back then. I thought maybe there would be a metamorphosis at the age of 27 where I would become this other person that I don't relate to, who is mother, wife, and,
Yeah. No, for me, it was just the fact that a lot of people I'd known seemed to unleash or rather release their hold on life around the age of 27. So in my mind, I was like, I am a statistical anomaly in terms of a child from the township going to private school and so on and so forth. Well, on scholarship, so maybe not that much of an anomaly.
Okay.
And then it was I think I'm pretty average, so 27 seems like the average age that people seem to croak out early.
Oh.
And so I always used to think that I'd be one of those, because also my sister passed at 27.
Oh
and
my
a friend
goodness!
of mine passed at 27.
I see your hang-ups about the age. You think because there is the whole under 27 club. You know of that. Yeah. So growing up, I was consuming a lot of different media. I was reading a lot. I was into pop culture, and I always thought, and I was very depressed. When I was a kid, I was just jaded and just depressed. And I was always thinking, I'm just going to do school, and then after school I'm going to get a job, and then after that I'm probably going to die because I'm old.
Skip everything else in between.
Yeah, and then die. But the older I get, I have an appreciation, and I'm excited for growth, for aging, because I'm seeing my mom grow old, and I think the older she gets, she's having the time of her life. She's living with in the Eastern Cape, doing her farm style life situation, and with my siblings, and it's not always easy, but I can tell that she's in her element,
No, because for me, when I mentioned this, when I left high school, 30 seemed so far away.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I'd finished my studies, I would get a good job.
Everyone wants a good job.
You know, I'd build my fortune very, very slowly. And when I say fortune, I mean being able to live a middle class life.
Yeah. Okay.
Because growing up poor, middle class is like your thing.
It's the standard. It's like
the thing that you want.
It's the thing you want. Like you want to do your grocery shopping at V&A and Canal Walk.
Like, I don't know. I grew up buying bulk from like Macro.
Okay.
And Game and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just being able to have a full pantry at all times because I
Yeah.
loved cooking. I still do.
You still do.
And it was about having not like when you need when you see something, you want something, you can get it. And that's simply what I just wanted from life. But now it's gotten to the point where if I don't need it, I don't see the reason to have it around me.
Yeah, but this ties into what we were talking about last week. Like, there's not enough bank in a buck. Is that how you say it?
Bang in a buck, yeah.
Yeah, there's not enough of that.
Buck in a bang.
Exactly, there's just not enough. And like, I feel like we are being forced to live a very frugal life.
Yep.
And there's a lot of content on the internet, not like a lot. I follow like one guy who talks about living like frugally and frugality and all of these things. And his main reason for that is because he took out student loans and he's been paying them off for the past while. And he's been working his butt off just trying to make ends meet and make sure that he has enough saved so that he still treats himself. Like he travels, he goes out, like he has like a dinner with friends. But within budget. And I always thought, okay, like at 30, I just saw myself as this, person who was able to, like you said, like afford things, go out whenever, take my kids on like vacations,
like take my nieces and nephews out for the first time,
things like that. So I'm trying to merge this idea that I had of myself of being. I don't even know why I was so convinced that I was going to be married with kids, but it just looked like a good idea. Even though I've always had this idea that like I was probably never going to have kids, but I kept that door open anyway, just in case it happened. I don't know if that's like a mentally sound thing to do.
I mean, goals are important, and I think being able to dream and be goal-oriented is a very important thing. And I think as you grow up, we don't actually take into account how significant it is to be able to have those goals, to be able to have plans to get to them, to be able to not just visualize, but also be realistic about them.
Yeah.
Because with me, after I started writing again, or rather journaling, it became very apparent that I'd lost my goal mission as well as value system within that. And sitting down and actually going over it again really helped to cement a lot of things in my head in terms of what I want to do. When I want to do something now, I do it. I've got the time, I've got the energy for it, and so I don't apologize anymore. I don't apologize for not having had goals. I don't apologize for having them. I don't apologize for some of the regrets. I don't apologize for being myself. And I think as you become older, you become more yourself, or rather you
become self-actualized.
Exactly. And I think that's also what comes with maturity. We speak about like the bad things, the expectations, but also you step into your own. You step into the fact that actually I am on my own, no matter if I have people around me, because once I enter the ground or I become ashes, there's no one else who's going to go on that journey with you.
Facts.
Right? And
I can appreciate that, like my own goals and my own dreams for what it would look like by the time I got to 30, they've changed. Yeah. Over the years, they have changed, and I can't blame myself for having that juvenile mindset.
Yeah.
And now I'm the older I get, I'm like, oh, I'm embracing every step of this journey. And I may not be where I thought I would be, but I'm definitely where I'm supposed to be.
And I think maybe 30 is just another journey.
Exactly.
And that's a rhyme.
Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of Incoko.
The Conversation.
And that's it from us, and we hope to see you again next week.